Do you want me to like produce something cool? I'll put like a cool intro and outro to this.
Whatever you want to do.
All right, cool.
Hey, it's Popko coming to you with an emergency press conference. We are taking on a new sponsor. Right, it's a new sponsor for a podcast. No big deal, right? Why is it so important? It's not per se, but it is because it ties into a lot of what we do at the Popko Project podcast, and I'm really happy to have them on board. And it's going to be a great partnership. And I thought it'd be really cool to have one of the members come on and tell you what it's about. And the sponsor is Merch Booth. So I wanted to bring on the director of marketing for Merch Booth, John Fry. John, where are you at, buddy?
Bam, 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 bam.
Can we add some of those in there?
Yeah, I'll definitely add some there.
What's going on?
Just hanging out, man.
Cool,
just
man.
trying to beat this heat.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for jumping on. I mean, obviously, the Popko Project is important to me, and I don't want to make this a big deal because it's like in the grand scheme of things, it's not. But like, it's cool, right?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely cool. It's definitely a cool thing.
Who announces a sponsorship, right? No one. Right? So it kind of seems silly, but I thought this was a cool way for you guys to kind of come on and talk about what exactly Merch Booth is, because it's very similar to what I did a couple years ago. It was called Shirts for the Scene, but this is on steroids. This is much more involved. There's marketing behind it. There's a lot more involved than with what I did. So I wanted to bring you on, and I wanted you to talk about what Merch Booth is.
Awesome. First of all, how are you, buddy? I love you. How's the show going and everything?
I think it's going fantastic. I'm interviewing a lot of local guests. I'm interviewing some national artists. It's been going great.
I'll tell you what, this scene around here is really starting to pick back up again. If COVID did anything, it kicked us in the ass to get back on our game.
I hope so, man, because fast. I feel like right before it was like almost at like the peak. And if it wasn't there already, like obviously COVID kind of just kicked the legs out from under it. But I mean, I've always said, and I mean, I've only known you for a short amount of time, but I mean, I've been in this scene for 17, 18 years now. And I had a radio show that promoted the local artist at one point, but I always said that I would put our local scene in Northeastern Pennsylvania up against any other city across the country.
Oh, anywhere. And it's like, we have this kind of cool, like Seattle type vibe here, but it's like, we don't have grunge. We just have random, like everything. We have Breaking Benjamin to Motionless and White, like hearing Chris on Rich's podcast talking about like going to the Jessup Dome and all that stuff from back in the day. Like we had like a legit scene where kids were going to shows. It was wild.
Yeah.
But like, that's kind of, so going back to COVID kind of kicked the whole scene and industry on its ass. I work for Special Guest, who is the parent company of Merch Booth. Special Guest is a live entertainment booking company. So like COVID basically made us unplug. So we started back up coming out of COVID. And one of our main goals with Special Guest is really just to make the artists as much money as possible. Now, we're a national company. We're owned by the Wayne's family, blah, blah, blah. But myself, my personal goal has always just been literally like yourself, rebuild the scene around here, and the scene everywhere will rebuild kind of a thing, because it just shows there's more and more people throwing in the effort to help these artists and to make it big. So we at Special Guest try to think of something fun to do, separate than kind of the live entertainment booking. So we got into management with talent. And one thing that really, since the day I started working here, Chris Jones has said to me is, I want to figure out a way to get a merch program, like an actual way for artists to make money off of merchandise, which is t-shirts anyway. you yourself, you work at a place that sells a lot of t-shirts. You see where, yeah, Axelrad pumps out t-shirts, and it's kind of like I talked to Aaron from Breaking Benjamin about this. He was like, artists don't make money off music anymore, man.
Nope.
It's
They
you
haven't for a
can
long
like,
time.
yeah, they haven't for years, man. So it's kind of where do the artists make their money? Okay, well, booking, obviously, but I mean, who is selling out Madison Square Garden to actually make money? So these smaller artists who could barely get, $200 a show, we try to decide, let's figure out a way to open up an opportunity for them to get a merch store. Kind of a big thing right now is going to festivals, seeing merch stands, you know, kind of having this full line of merch is very important rather than having, and this is a famous Chris Jones line, having like one or two mediums and a large and like two XLs at home. We want to rather give the opportunity to artists to have basically a full on-demand store. So that would mean on your merch booth, you would be able to log on and have really unlimited designs on there, and you could buy them as one-offs. So say someone's at your show and they want a t-shirt and you don't have it, you can now actually say, yo, just hop on my merch booth, buy it, it'll be there next week. So that's really a huge thing where a band doesn't have to cough up $500 for 24 or 48 t-shirts. They can actually have an on-demand option. So that really was our goal right off the bat, is to get these merch booth stores up on the e-stores, that kind of a thing, and really just start kind of teaching. It's really like, you should know this more than anybody. Graphic design is a lot harder to like your average Joe. Like, they don't understand the color, they don't understand the resolution, that kind of stuff that you can go back and forth with the t-shirt company for 3 weeks over this kind of stuff, the right resolution, the right colors. And a lot of bands will think they could just pop a picture on there and make money off a t-shirt. Well, it's actually how many colors you're putting into it, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to try to work to kind of educate people on that kind of stuff too. But like I said, our main goal, man, is rebuild this scene, rebuild the music industry, kind of make it possible to be a rock star again. Like, and it doesn't, and it's not really just rock and roll or any band type of. I mean, we opened our whole platform of special guests to the merch site, so we have comedians, drag queens, virtually everybody coming in, any type of entertainer we're allowing on here, motivational speaker, poet, anything like that, other than small businesses that are just looking for like a small garage or something like that. We're really looking just for the entertainment aspect of it. But I mean, since we've launched this thing, I think we're up around 200 applicants that are going to be approved by next week. So it's kind of like moved a lot faster than I thought, Popko.
Yeah, man. Well, it's a great thing, because I know that when I did Shirts for the Scene, and we'll go back to the education part of what you mentioned. When I did Shirts for the Scene, I was just reaching out and I'm like, hey, send me a vector file or a PDF or whatever of your logo. And the amount of artists that told me, A, I don't have a logo, or B, I have like a JPEG,
Yeah,
was just almost
it's
mind
astonishing.
blowing.
It's astonishing.
And I mean, it's not shit talking on them. I mean, they don't know.
Well, and
They don't
it's
know.
weird. It's a weird balance because like these are creative people, but I mean,
Right.
I know some video producers that doesn't know the difference between a vector. So it's kind of like that's where we had to take a step back and be like, okay, like maybe just like we know this because this is going to be our industry now. So
Right.
I was actually talking to our head of product um this weekend, and I think we're going to start kind of like a little TikTok series, like a whiteboard teacher, and I'll be the student. He's just we're just going to go over the fuck. Can I curse on here? The effing basics, sure. Like that's what we're going to do. We're going to go, this is an EPS file. This is how so we're going to do stuff like that. But sticking to the actual merch itself. So our program is going to actually offer, what we did was we partnered with Axelrad to offer on-demand printing with their on-demand printing store. A band or entertainer could sign up. They have access to free custom, or not free custom designs, free online store. They will have access to designers if they wanted to. This would be paid, but we're actually going to give your podcast 10 free signups. So anybody who signs up and puts in your name is going to get a free design through us. So that'll be pretty cool. We did that for a few people, and we have some very good designers on staff. So I mean, I was telling people just sign up for the free design, man. If it doesn't work out, get the free design.
Yeah. I mean, you can go on merchbooth.com right now and see some of the
Yeah.
designs that are already there, and they're fantastic.
Yep. Yeah. And it's a cool site because like at the top of the site is Damon Wayans Jr. Like we're going to 6 comedy shows in Florida this weekend to support his merch program, and it's like he has about 143,000 people that search his name a month.
Wow.
Like that's just his name, not Damon Wayans, his dad's name, which is about 800. It's insane. But I mean, you're going to be on the same platform as him. I mean, if you do good, he's going to see it. It's kind of like you're on a platform that has above average click-through rate. You're on a platform that is going to give you marketing support. You're going to be, when you sign up for a merch booth, you're sent basically like a social asset package. So I created these things that are basically social graphics, social GIFs, social memes, all that kind of stuff. So the second you make a merch booth, we send out kind of these templates that you just pop your shirts in there and you could promote them that way. We have an awesome logo. We have Doc Merchington right here. This guy is badass as hell. We're going to get him a t-shirt gun. Josh Paul's got 2 t-shirt guns, so I'm going to be stealing one of those guys.
There you go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we have a full marketing team that'll back you up. And that doesn't mean we're here working, for each and every band, but we are providing you assets and things like that. And what our company really drives on is data. So what our main goal is with somebody that's coming into Merge Booth is to kind of just see how well they do. If they do good, we're going to approach them and say, why don't we work with you to figure out a way to get you onto screen printing? Let's bring those prices down, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of, it's a new, like you said, it's kind of the same thing you did with the support the scene or the shirts for the scene, but it literally has a venture-backed capital company behind it too, with a good team.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the marketing behind it is so huge because again, we're going back to the bands and not having logos, not having designs. Like they're creatives, right? They're not necessarily like designers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these days a lot of them are also designers too, but like they are booking their own shows. They're doing X, Y, and Z, and thinking about merch and thinking about designing something isn't top of mind. So to have this platform at their disposal is huge for them.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you brought up a good point. It's like that they have all this shit to do and then they have to think like, oh shit, we didn't set up a merch stand, So one of the cool things that we're doing right now and testing on our signed acts, I'll use the Taxmen as an example. They're a Beatles tribute band. They played Rock in the River last week. Let's see who played this week. Mike Miz and Cabinet. So there was probably about 1,000 to 1,500 people at this show. They're up on stage playing. Their parents, their fans are all in the crowd. I'm there working a merch stand for them. They don't have to worry about a thing. We're making a good amount of $100 or up to $1,000 kind of almost to show with these guys. And it's money they don't even have to break a sweat over. They just look up, their parents watch me sell them merch all day, so it's cool stuff like that. If we're doing stuff like if a band has an album coming out, we're going to look to support that band and see if we can get an order in for a screen print, and we'll run a merch booth for you. That's kind of the idea we want to have. We want to be that support system for bands to make that extra cash. And this is actually like, it's work. Like all summer long, I've been working at festivals, at shows, sitting outside in this damn heat, like I said, but like I'm learning so much from it. It's really like, it's sort of research all we're doing all summer long. So we're seeing what works, like having 5 different SKUs, which is like a garment compared to, just 2 t-shirts and 2 mediums and 2 larges, that kind of a thing. When you have one little table with a little crappy t-shirt hanging up by duct tape compared to what we will bring, which is mannequins, will bring lights. We have we have tents that connect to like a 20-foot tent with that you can walk inside. Like we're going to try to give you the full the full thing right now. So that's kind of where we are with it. It's moving very fast though, which is good.
Yeah, you said you already have like what 200 signups, and it's
I would
been
say 200 signups and maybe 150 that we have verified and put onto the site. But like I said, we'll probably be over 200 by next week. It's moving it. This is all off of Popko. This is I think he said a $50 Facebook ad. It was like, we went on Rich's podcast and we were like, oh, that went pretty good. We got like 10 signups. And then Chris put out a Facebook paid ad, and it's just like our logo and just to kind of explains the program. And since then, we've been getting about 15 leads a day. So it's been brutal, man. All this organization, like real fast. So
yeah, the power of the internet, man.
oh yeah. So it was good.
Blessing and a curse, I always say.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But
well,
no,
I mean, like, we need to hire somebody. I'll tell you that much. I'm tired.
There you go. But yeah, it's I worked with bands a lot over the years, and especially when I jumped on board with Axelrad, like bands don't have a lot of cash flow. I mean, they're so for them to be able to find a merch booth, merchbooth.com, that kind of can I say almost fronts the money? And
So
then
yeah.
how
So
does that work?
basically, like I said, we are using data to drive business. So like Special Guest does, we have a website with 100,000 artists on it. When you have that many artists on there, you really have a good eye on the industry. You could see what's working where, blah, 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 who's booking what. Like Southern California, there's never a day that goes by there's not a party there booking somebody, So like those kind of things you find out, like down south, they don't sell sweatshirts down south, man. Right. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but it is hot as hell down there apparently, and we are cold up here. So like stuff like that we're trying to use. The fact that it's cold in the north and hot in the south, we use that. But no, we're doing that kind of stuff to just be smarter about it. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the finance thing. So we're trying right now, and this is kind of, I don't know, I'll probably get yelled at for talking about this, but whatever. What our goal really is this buy now, pay later system for merch. So I started this all off by saying, like, what band has like, the prices of t-shirts, like they're expensive.
Well, yeah. Well, like, I mean, the way the world is now, I mean, the $5 t-shirt doesn't exist. I mean,
exactly.
It's just the way it
impossible.
is. Like the blanks cost a fortune, ink has gone up, shipping, all the XYZ is just in 2022, life is hard.
The color purple is virtually impossible to find in this country. And I'm talking across the board, t-shirts, hoodies, hats. It's stuck somewhere in the ocean and we can't get it.
Yeah.
But basically what we do is we partnered with you guys. We came up with a deal with this on-demand printing where we can set up these online stores. Another deal we're trying to set up is this buy now, pay later system where it would be sort of a band, like I said, would have like an album release show or is going on tour. That's a lot different. You don't really need an on-demand program when you're on tour. You want shirts on hand. Now we're going into screen printing. Okay. So we use our data to see what bands can actually support this. We see how many shows do they have after this release. Do they have 8 shows after this release? Because it will be a lot easier to sell 80 t-shirts at 8 shows than just this show.
Or a venue that has,
exactly
15,000 people,
Yes. Like this Damon Wayne's trip we're going on. It's 6 shows at the same venue. We're like, well, let's order just a bunch and ship them there. And we don't have to move these things. And if they sell out, they sell out. And we just, so like you have a team behind you doing that stuff. But this pay now or buy now, pay later, I'll get the name right one of these times.
Yeah.
Buy now, pay later is kind of a thing we're planning on. And Chris is really just trying to build this price model right now, like to perfection. He wants to see, is this going to be worth it? Because if it is, it's going to be one of, if not the only, website that's doing that. There's nobody out there that's fronting bands merch. That's like one of the craziest things you could ever say.
Yeah.
And it's risk.
As a smart businessman like Chris is, and he has not gained the success that he's had by being a dummy.
No, that's for sure. He is not a dummy.
No, not at all. But you figure out the metrics, you figure out what works, what doesn't, and price points, all that kind of stuff. Like where everyone wins.
And that's really where this Axelrad deal came clutch. So what we do with Axelrad is kind of, we partnered with you guys too, and Chris got pricing that he thinks he can fit into this model. Which one day I walked into work and Chris is like, "I need you to build me a matrix," and I was like, "That's a fucking movie. What are you talking? A price matrix? What is that?" I had to Google it for 3 weeks, man. It took me forever, but no. So Chris is like he goes into these like holes where he will just number something to perfection. I mean, it's how he has built his businesses. It's how he's drove his marketing business to the top. But that's really our plan here, is to use our leverage with Axelrad. And if this thing scales upwards, I mean, partners across the country to then offer an option for a band to be like, "Yo, we have a album coming out that we just spent $3,500 to record. We don't have $1,200 extra dollars for 100 t-shirts and 100 hoodies, So what we do is we take a little bit of that risk analysis and we put it to the band, see if we could do it. And we're kind of going by that. You ever see a firm? It's kind of like that for payment.
Sure,
so basically what you would have to do is pay that first payment. And remember, this isn't in line yet, but you're getting kind of a sneak peek here. But that's kind of the system we would like to model it after, is that, and see if it works. If it doesn't, it won't work. That's that. You get the inside scoop here. It's kind of just Chris bouncing off ideas with us and me and the team. It's like, "Do you think this will work?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Hey, you know what? You have to try. You got to shoot the shot. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
And that's the one thing, like, I will say, and I'll stop talking about my boss after that, because who talks about their boss as well? But like my boss, like Chris Jones, is not afraid to sit there and spend the money to do the research. So like, if this doesn't work, I thank God Chris Jones figured it out, and not some guy who went through $10 million at it, So Chris isn't afraid to take risks. This whole merch booth thing is a risk, like, it's not our average cup of tea that we do at work. We have talent bookers right now processing leads for a t-shirt company. So it's a lot different what we're doing right now. But it's working. I will say this: bands love merch, and seeing the designs come in are awesome. I mean, even from the bad ones to the good ones. From the bad ones, seeing what a band just has to put out because they, graphic wise, just because they don't have any other option is cool to see, because it's like you're really learning the insides of this industry right now. You're learning like, okay, these artists really are only artists in maybe their category, and they could use help elsewhere. So let's learn how to help those people, So it's been exhilarating. And now we're doing stuff like sponsorship, so it's going to move faster. We started with Rich's podcast, and then we moved obviously right to you, which my goal is to have the Rich Howells and Johnny Popko podcast one day.
That used to exist.
I know.
We used to host the NAPA Scene podcast together. At the time in our lives, I was also the host of a radio show, and I was trying to push different things that way. And we were just we kind of were asked to. I was asked to end my association.
I heard you were asked to take Rich down.
No, not take him down, not at all.
Just end your association.
They didn't say you have to stop doing this, but they advised me that, like, hey, like, we sign your paycheck.
Yeah.
It would be smart if you.
I just picture some emperor on the top of that Times building, just like, yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, I mean, I get it. It's business. It is what it is. Yeah. I understand. I'm not upset by it by any means.
The only thing that people would get upset with is if you guys quit. And like I said this about Motionless and White. Guess what? I was going to see shows with them when I was 13 years old, man. I'm 32 now. They never stopped playing. In that matter of time, people are always like, they made it huge. How did they make it huge? It's like, well, first of all, they've been playing for like 25 years together. Second of all, they're good now, no matter what. Like, if you didn't like them back in high school, like, they're a professional band now. And that's kind of the same. Like, when I got to Special Guest, this is a funny story. I was like, yo, I see Rich Howells at everything. Like we have to work with Rich Howells. Like Rich Howells, Rich Howells. I was just chirping in Chris's ear, and we were doing a contract with them, and it got to a price negotiation. And I walked into Chris's office, and I was like, "If Rich Howells isn't here, I'm going." He's like, "All right, then go." I was like, "All right, let's talk about this." Hold on 1 second, pal. But no, like, and then it was kind of the same when the promotion started doing well. I was like, "Well, we just gotta move this." Like, I want to see, like, I'm scaling this from a marketing perspective. So just kind of the same way we're trying to scale the company, I'm trying to scale how we promote it. So like podcasting, who needs on-demand stores more than, a podcast? Look at this guy. He's got his own store up there.
Come on.
Look at that guy. Look at this guy. Look at
That's
this.
a face only a mother can love.
But yeah, who can use on-demand sales more than podcasters? So that's one thing Chris was like, oh, I definitely want to dive into that, industry and stuff like that. So podcast sponsorships. When I did work with Barstool, I mean, I've seen the power of like good podcast advertising. Like, you ever hear like High Noons works?
Yeah.
Like I've seen that company go from nothing to literal.
Portnoy is no dummy, man.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. So, and that's kind of what I did for that company, was like product placement in advertising for their videos for a podcast. And you learn a lot from like what looks cool to the public and what sounds like an ad.
Yeah.
Like we try to do an ad, we're sitting here for 30 minutes talking. That's what people want more.
Yeah, I'm not about script reads and things like that. But I'm honored that you guys, approached me and wanted to get involved with what I'm doing. And I'm excited to kind of be a champion for, merchbooth.com and
hell yeah,
just kind of get, the local artists, especially in NEPA, to the next level, and just get them. I mean, what I'm doing, right? I started doing this podcast featuring local artists, but I also wanted to, talk to national artists as well. I talked to the Verve Pipe and Cold and things like that, and everyone kind of wins by that, right? Because if people are drawn to the podcast because they like Cold, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that like Cold, and they get exposed to a Stay Loud or University Drive or whoever it might be, like that's how it all kind of works.
Well, like I would say Stay Loud has the nicest merch program in Merch Booth right now. Like they have the nicest store. Their designs
are sweet.
Their designs are tip top. Like I knew Stay Loud from their merch before I knew the band. And like that's a perfect example of what we're doing here. Like I bought a Stay Loud t-shirt from them probably about 4 months ago. I'd never heard the band before. And then like 3 months later, they're in Rich's office doing a podcast. And I actually got that t-shirt because there was some type of shipping issue. I got that t-shirt like literally a week before that interview. I was like, guys, what the hell is that about? I ordered this t-shirt like 3 years ago. But yeah, no, those guys are perfect. I really want to bring, I think it's Chris that does their designs. I want to bring him on board because like he is like just at least design work. He's tip top. He's good at it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So, but yeah, that's the goal, man. And I'll pop back in. Like I know we'll do we'll do this. We'll pop back in. I'll keep you updated on stuff, all the cool new stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I want to keep you guys involved and all that kind of stuff. So any bands that are watching this emergency press conference, what if they're not involved already, how do they get involved?
All right, so it is merchbooth.com. I got it pulled up right here for us. So basically you just go into your search bar, type merchbooth.com. If you're an entertainer, hit this button right here, sell on Merch Booth. I said it wrong already. And then you just click right here for the survey. And it's basically just a couple questions, kind of giving us our first approach on like, what does this band have? Show us your designs. Give us literally everything you have so we can hand it to our designer and work from there. So if you're someone who wants to buy a t-shirt, it's just merchbooth.com. But if you're an entertainer, just go to merchbooth.com, and you want to sell, you just click sell on Merch Booth. click here, and it's like 5 questions, and then we get in touch with you probably a day later and get you all set up. It probably takes about, at this, like, we're kind of speeding it up, but at this point right now, it's kind of taken about 3 to 5 days to get their store up. And that's simply, like I said, it's the back and forth, like, hey, we'll send you our logo, and they send it and it's 2 inches big.
Right.
And you're like, put that on a t-shirt. It's like,
It's not going to work.
But it's that kind. And like I said, we're just going to do stuff to educate people. Follow us on we're on Instagram. It's Mirth Booth. It's at Mirth Booth Official. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and we're going to do a TikTok too. So people like t-shirts, man. It's not going to be too hard, I don't think.
Well, no, I mean, people have to wear clothes, right? When I got into the business with Axelrod, I'm like, well, this business won't die because people need clothes.
Yeah, that's a much different.
How they get them might be different, but I mean, well, maybe not really, but yeah,
you never know.
Clothes and people,
or we might just turn into a really cool country and just never wear clothes.
Yes, fuck it, yeah, right.
That would be fucking awesome.
I mean, you know what? The way things are right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Oh shit. Well, Popko, I wasted like 30 minutes of your time, but congratulations on the kid, by the way. I'm happy for you. I'm happy everyone's happy and healthy, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate taking the time to come on here and tell the people of the world, about Merch Booth, and I'm excited to be a part of this. I mean, your success is my success, one of those types of deals.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's scratch each other's backs and let's
sell some fucking merch.
Let's make this fucking scene some money.
There we go, baby. I'm gonna hit that horn again. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, make it happen.
Show what your small business sells in 7 seconds.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.